So finally made it down to Sacramento, California. Came to Super Training Gym at the Slingshot World Headquarters. I've been talking to Mark Bell about coming down here, and he's done it all now. You know, world level power lifter. He trained at Westside Barbell. He's one of those guys. One of the best known entrepreneurs in the fitness industry. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm Big Ron Partlow, and this is Mutant On A Mission. So I'm outside the Slingshot World Headquarters, and this is where Mark Bell's Super Training is. So I've been waiting to come to this gym for a few years now. Finally made it happen. So I'm gonna go see Mark Bell, and he's gonna show me around.
We gotta make the door a little wider for this guy coming through. What's up, man? How's it going, Ron?
Mr. Slingshot.
Yeah, great to see you, man.
Mark Bell, founder of Slingshot.
Super Training Gym.
Super Training Gym.
Let me show you around, huh?
You bet. I was going to give you a full intro. Writer of books, patenter of inventions, right? You know. But
I didn't know you had all the information on me.
I know. There's obviously your front shop.
Yeah, so this right here is our store. We're in West Sacramento, California, and something that maybe not everybody is aware of with Super Training Gym. It's a free gym. You know, I'm really not aware of another gym that's free, especially that's this big. Let me take you through over this way. We got some cornhole.
We got to kill time in the office, bring up, what is it, company
morale, yeah. And in here we have our break room. Everyone practices, and I don't know what they do at home, but they practice good, healthy nutrition here when they're amongst each other.
Right.
Which makes staying on the plan a lot easier, because sometimes you're like, I just feel like going to get a donut, but then you know, I'm not going to eat it in front of everybody. They're going to give me too much shit.
A lot of judging.
So in here,
I love this.
We've had Super Training Gym since 2006. The Slingshot didn't come along until 2010. It's an invention that I patented. And then around the Slingshot, it's a supportive upper body device for bench press, push-ups, dips, that kind of stuff. I created wrist wraps, knee wraps, elbow sleeves, the whole entire Slingshot brand. Sometimes we'll make shirts. We like to be in control as much as possible of what comes out, how we release it. Like this is just fun. You know, I'm a proponent of like a low carb diet, so this is called a War on Carb shirt. And it's me throwing a tomahawk steak at a donut, you know. This is just a really simple heat transfer machine, and anyone, like you can do this in your garage. You know, if you wanted to like start making some shirts, it's a simple process. And then this guy is a much more complicated process.
Is this a laser printer?
Yeah, it's a laser printer. You can see some of the logos are still on there, the War on Carbs and some of that stuff.
Overlapped.
We also can test the ink and see how the ink looks on our other products if we wanted to put it on a Slingshot. Rather than try to like manufacture that and order 1,000 of them, we could do it right here on the spot and take a look at it. And this is the original one that we had. This used to be in my garage, because all of this started with my wife and I slinging out Slingshots from the garage. Take you guys through the warehouse over here. What started as just kind of, you know, a few boxes in our garage, you know, ended up turning into just boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. We make protein powder, knee wraps, knee sleeves. We make shirts, we make hats, we make shorts, we make sweatpants.
Yeah, your merchandise. I see the coffee cups out there. Is that just for the staff?
How do we get our brand into somebody's home? You know, and then we start thinking about, okay, what are more casual things? Like, it's cool to have the shirt, it's cool to have the hat, but what are more casual things that the wife's gonna notice? Our community is like 90% dudes, you know? So how do we get it to where the whole family feels good about it? So those are some things that we think about, and that's why we end up creating so many different things. And you can just see they're kind of like rows and rows and rows.
Oh yeah, but there's a method to the madness.
I think so. I don't know. I'm not usually allowed over here.
They keep you out.
What I'm really excited about is over this way. What we're going to do over here, because we create so much content, this is going to turn into a full-on studio. This will be like podcast area. Sort of the vision for it is to have maybe 3 or 4 different spots with different backgrounds and different setup. There might be like a whiteboard in one spot. In another spot there might be some weights. In another spot there might be even like a kitchen. So my room at first in my old house, I used to just have piles and piles of like powerlifting equipment around. I used to have a bunch of different stuff around, and I was just always tinkering with wraps and straps. But this is a Slingshot right here, and I used to like mess around with like knee wrap material and pull on it and do different things with it. And I was like, I don't know, I tore my pec years ago, and then I threw on I tried to throw on an extra tight like Under Armour shirt to see if it would help, and it didn't help at all. When you go to put your shirt on sometimes in the morning, if you just put the shirt up over your arms but not over your head, well, now the shirt supports the back of your arms.
Yeah.
Someone would support the back of your arms on like a dumbbell incline bench, right? That's how you get that extra push, that extra squeeze to be able to flex. So once I did that one day, it just hit me out of nowhere. I was like, oh, this would help because I tore my pec, and I'm just looking for like a little bit of assistance so I can still train, because I still wanted to compete.
So it's half kind of a rehab thing. You wanted to be able to train.
Absolutely. I never intended for it to allow you to like really lift more weight.
Right.
But that's ended up what happened. It helps you with being able to handle more weight. It helps with your form and technique because it helps pull the elbows in. Those are all sort of, and it works on push-ups and dips. Those are all like accidental things.
Right.
That it happens to do, but it was really just to protect myself to be able to get back into doing some heavy benching. This is where we obviously do some photo shoots, you know, so if we need to pop in here, this is one of our new logos, so if I got a new logo, boom, they have me come here, snap, snap, snap.
So this is the Mind Bullet office.
Yeah, so we've had this going on for about a year, and this is my wife and I, and we wanted to just keep it her and I, and keep it really simple. We put a website together. There hasn't been a lot of marketing of it, but part of the reason for that is we can't use traditional advertising with it, because what's in here is called Mitragine specioso, and that is a plant known as Kratom. It's kind of the street name of it, and it has a lot of bad connotations surrounding it. And so the FDA, it's illegal in some states and in some areas. Like, it's legal here in California, but it's illegal if you live in San Diego.
Right.
So it's kind of in a strange category.
So are there certain states you can't ship to and that sort of
Absolutely,
thing?
right. And then my website will tell you, which places can get it and which places can't.
Yeah.
But I'm not big on like conspiracies and like the government's trying to do this and trying to do that. But there's a lot of great drugs. Let's just call them drugs that could really benefit people. That can really be super helpful. And the government will say this one's okay, but this one's not. Like alcohol is just fine.
Yeah.
Cigarettes are just fine. Chewing tobacco is just fine. But no, not this one.
Right.
And Kratom is something that just helps me feel good. I take it every day. I love it for a workout because, as you know, like when you go to do like it's leg day, right? And you want to be as full blast, as full bore as possible, but you're kind of in the back of your head, you're like, my knee is really kind of, you know. And it's like, it's that little nagging thing that's bugging you just a little bit, makes you pull back. Instead of the squats, maybe you started out with something else. And you talk yourself out of even being a professional bodybuilder for all those years. We still all have that negative side that talks you out of it. But what if you're in a little bit better mood? What if as soon as you got in the car, your favorite AC/DC song came on?
Yeah.
Now you're doing squats, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I look at this stuff. Let me show you the podcast room. We're interested in top level bodybuilders, top level powerlifters, but then we're also interested in people that just have made a lot of progress. So some of my favorite episodes are sometimes with fans, because when we have a fan on the show, there's so many other people that reach out to us. Like having Jay Cutler on there is inspiring for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like Jay Cutler is a very special person with very special circumstances that led to all that. And I think as much as we want to say you can be and do whatever you want, you only kind of can,
Yeah, like you can't be Jay Cutler.
Yeah, there's these unique people in the world, but when we have a fan on the show, and it's somebody that lost 75 pounds, but they have 4 kids, they don't have a lot of money, all they have is their lifting, then we hear a huge outpour of people being like, dude, I'm just like that guy.
No, I think that's cool, man. It's all about the story. We learned that on this show too. Like I said, there's lots of great gyms out there, but if it's just like some guy that bought an awesome gym and filled it full of equipment, and he doesn't really have a connection, it's just it's not as special, But if the guy's obsessed with the equipment he has, and he put the gym together himself, and he welded this, and he fixed that, and it's all built on that's where this story is.
Dun dun!
The gym.
Super training gym. With this gym, there's a lot of powerlifting going on as we were coming in. You know, a lot of the West Side barbell stuff was really still high up on everyone's priority list. Powerlifting was about to explode, and we caught the kind of tail beginnings of it. It's still growing, it's still getting big. Yeah. But you know, I'm not one to be shy, so I labeled it the strongest gym in the West. And I started calling it strongest gym in the West before we really had anybody really moving anything. So I'm like, we're going to become that. I'm going to label it that, and then I'm going to figure it out. And then we've had multiple people squat over 1,000 pounds, multiple people bench over 800 pounds.
It's crazy.
A few 800-pound deadlifts and all that good stuff.
Well, it definitely looks like you've set it up, you know, for strength.
Yeah.
Like, look at the row, all the slingshots, all the bands and chains and bars.
A lot of these bench presses are from EliteFTS.com.
Oh, okay,
they make some of the best powerlifting equipment in the world.
Yeah.
This one here is from Matt Wenning. You want people that know what they're doing. So Elite is owned by Dave Tate. Dave Tate was a multiple-time elite powerlifter himself.
We did an episode, season 2. We went to
probably one of the most fun times you had. That guy's awesome.
We went to S4. That's the one before the one he's in now.
Right.
The old one.
But you know, you want to get equipment from people that have done it. You know, you want to get bodybuilding advice from people that have done it. You want to get, you know, with the best people in the world. And Matt Wenning is, you know, up there in terms of he builds a lot of great stuff. This is his belt squat too. These sledgehammers are, you know, friends of mine over here. I smashed the shit out of this tire with them a lot.
Oh, what's the super training one?
Yeah, it's a good 40, 45 pounds or so.
40, 45 pound sledgehammer.
Yep.
That's cool.
I set all those up around the tire there, and then I'll beat the shit out of the tire with each one of them. Just kind of that old school, you know, old school work, you know. You know, I have a lot of inventions. You know, I haven't even gotten halfway through a lot of my inventions. But
those are the wagon wheels, right?
Yeah, these are called wagon wheels. And
it's like block deadlifting.
It's a block deadlift, right?
Yeah.
So we used to do a lot of block deadlifts, but then we'd break the blocks, you know? They were made out of wood and they'd shatter and shit like that.
I thought, oh, that's a cool idea, because you're, you know, gyms that are space efficient.
It helps with that as
well. They don't have room for blocks, but with those, they could just, you know, tuck them against the wall.
It's definitely part of it. And what I saw in working with people, when they go to try to do a deadlift, they had to get out of position to do a good deadlift. And I was like, I would always raise it up, but I'm always looking for mats. I'm always looking for this and that. One thing I would want to share with you guys quickly is that if you want to make something of yourself, if you want to make a product, you have to effing make it. Like, you really do.
Yeah.
You have to figure out a way. Because I went to Rogue Fitness and like, we don't care about that. We don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So you know what? I was like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this made myself. So I got it made myself. I had my father-in-law make it. He has a machine shop. It cost me $650 to get these made, which is a lot of damn money, you know, especially for me at the time, didn't have much. I made the plate, and I'm like, I'm gonna get in the mind of Rogue Fitness. I'm gonna make them make this, because I didn't want to try to produce it myself, because it's out of my like realm, it's out of my wheelhouse. So I did this, and then I did this. And I put it like this, and I put it like this. Whoops. I put it like that. I sent a picture to the owner. I said, this is what I'm talking about. And look at how much bigger and more intimidating, how much cooler that looks than that.
Yeah.
He said, I got it. He said, we'll work on it. We'll have it done in a few weeks. But sometimes you got to.
So he just thought you were making a fancy plate at first?
I don't think he really understood.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to force people to see your vision.
Yeah.
This is called the War Wagon. So
it's a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, just a good old-fashioned wheelbarrow work. I'm sure your dad made you pick up a lot of these. Just walk with it.
Shit.
You can do shrugs with it.
That's a cool piece.
Have you ever messed with a tank before?
No, but they sure look cool, because you can adjust the tension on them, right?
Yeah, so these things are monsters. They're really not, you know, there's no weight on here. But you get a, the resistance not up yet, but if we go like this, boom, now we got some good resistance as we go to push into it.
Oh,
go ahead and give that a little shove. I'll move this guy out of your way. Don't go trying to run with it. You'll kill yourself. But give it a little shove.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's quite stiff even with no weight on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just walk all the way down to the end. You'll feel your hamstrings, your calves.
Yeah, that's even with no weight on it. It's, you know.
Great warm up. You come in here in the morning and sometimes it's kind of cold. So it's a good way to Good way to get you rolling. This is something you probably haven't seen before. This guy right here, this is our giant vibrator.
Ah, you gotta have a giant vibrator.
Oh yeah, everybody needs one of those.
This is Mutant on a Mission, super training gym. Is that like a physio piece, or is it made for lifters? Like, who makes it? Is it like a medical piece that you've like?
I think if you put it down like this, I think it's made for women. They just straddle over top. No, you know, it is. It's definitely a physio piece. We have a little bit of cardio pieces here. This is one of my favorites right here. This is a ski erg. They're not crazy expensive, and to go at it on this thing, you know, gets your whole body involved. It's just kind of up in here. I mean, do, you know, 10 sprints, 5-10 sprints on that thing a couple times a week, and you're like on your way. Yeah. Start to really feel it in your triceps too.
It's like cross-country skiing.
We got the traditional hammer row right there.
The main row that you would need if you're gonna get one.
We got the T-bar row set up there as well. And then if you want to do some heavy, you know, seated rows, we got all this stuff. Strongman type stuff, the yoke walks. The Rogue racks are super convenient. Having these straps in here are really nice. Like sometimes we'll lift off of these straps, and lifting off of the straps as opposed to lifting off a metal bar.
Yeah.
You know, when you did your heavy shrugs and stuff, you know, it's going crazy, right? When you're lifting off these, you don't get that same crazy vibration.
What are the straps good to? They'll hold.
Oh, they'll hold whatever.
Anything. So this is like a junk bar. It's warped.
Yeah. So we probably have gone through about 50 bars over the years, of just because we're, you know, mutants, right? Yeah, and we've lifted some heavy ass weights, so we have bent a lot of bars. Sometimes it's an accident. Somebody, you know, has to dump a squat off their back, then the bar gets bent. Sometimes we drop the weight on like the pins and it gets bent. But really, truly, a lot of them have been bent just from like lifting some crazy weight.
Right.
And just over time, the bar starts to get kind of screwed up.
So if you got a red tape bar, that means you can do anything you want with it.
That's right. We can have it here in the rack, and you can have at it and do whatever.
Use it.
Yeah, do whatever the hell you want with it. This is probably your favorite spot in the whole gym. You probably feel super comfortable right here in front of the mirror, right?
Well, I knew that had to do with the mirror. That's what I knew you were going, yeah.
I know nothing about bodybuilding. I know nothing about flexing. I know nothing about posing.
Right, right, right.
But the person that taught me a very particular style of pose is you.
Oh.
You taught me the elevator selfie.
Oh, there you go.
The elevator selfie. This might turn into a full bodybuilding competition. Get the legs going.
There you go. You know, when we were on the podcast earlier, we were kind of talking about life after competing. Like when you change gears and you start to think differently. Right. You know, I'm thinking about my health and, you know, my body weight and stuff. So go back to when you're powerlifting, you would have been like, oh, that's horrible. But now that you've really embraced it. It's the new you, you know, you've reinvented yourself successfully. Even though I was a bodybuilder and you were a powerlifter, I was watching you reinvent yourself a little bit before I had to. So guys like you, guys like Jay, watching them transition out of the trying to be massive all the time was really, really helpful.
That means a lot, and it wasn't easy, you know, reversing your way kind of out of that, you know, being 330 and squatting 1,000 pounds every week, and benching over 800 pounds nearly every week, and feeling that kind of strength was definitely very, very, like to stand up with 1,000 pounds and be like, this is going to be easy. It's a really cool power to have, and it's a really cool thing to have developed, but it's like nearly an impossible thing to like turn your back on and head in the other direction. And when you do head in that other direction, not everybody loves it.
Yeah, no, well, it looks like you got a great setup, man. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, I appreciate it, man.
I really appreciate coming here, seeing everything, you know. Might have to lift some weights now.
I'm excited to have you in here today. We just like broke a world record for podcasting. We went, as you called it, full Rogan.
Yes, we did go full Rogan. We went 2 hours and almost 40 minutes.
Hopefully our workout will be shorter than that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Have a 2-hour squat session with you as well. So I'm excited to be here, you know, and I want to do something unusual. I don't want to do hammer presses or anything. I want to do something that I've never done before. try something I never tried before, step out of the comfort zone.
A great way to get a PR.
Great way to get a PR, yes.
To do something you've never done before.
It'll be all PRs all day long.
Right.
Okay, so let's get cracking.
One thing that I really enjoy and one thing that I really like is taking excuses away from people. So Ron, on the podcast today, we talked for 3 hours or so, and he said, you know what, man, like, I really need to do some HIIT training. So before we get into hitting up these squats today, we're gonna do a little bit of HIIT training.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do, just move it for a little bit, and we're gonna go hard for 20 seconds. Anyone can do this. If you've never tried it before, I would say rather than thinking like you're gonna go all out and you're gonna, do a sprint on a scale of 1 to 10 out of 10, just if you're new to it and you haven't tried anything like this, just start at like a 6 or a 7. We're gonna do a few sprints. So here we go.
Come on, man. Smash this one. Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Are you paying close attention to the rest between sprints, or are you just kind of ballparking, or?
I usually just walk down and back, probably about 40 seconds or so. But for HIIT training, in order to burn fat, you can rest as long as you'd like. That's what the science shows. If you want to rest 5 minutes, you could. But in terms of conditioning, you'd want a little shorter rest interval. Legs are pumped, huh?
My quads are pumped.
Yeah. Quads are pumped like you did 10 sets.
Got a little punch, so,
it gives you a lot of energy, for somebody that wants to get out of work for a little bit and wants to re-energize. That kind of stuff's better than a cup of coffee any day of the week. At Super Training Gym, we spare no expense. We have anything and everything you can think of to get stronger. A lot of it starts with the barbells that we have, and we have thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of bars. These are all squat bars and variations of squat bars. A squat bar that you might use in competition is just quite a bit thicker than a regular bar, and in some cases might be longer, because as you get bigger and bigger and bigger and more powerful, sometimes you're going to lose mobility. So a lot of bigger guys, a lot of super heavyweights, and people just with poor shoulder mobility need to kind of have their hands out. A big problem in the squat is when people go to come up out of the hole, they kind of go hips first. They kind of like lock their legs here, and then they got to go rah, and do a good morning. And so safety squat bar is going to pitch you forward a little bit. It'll help build up back here. This area here, which has a tendency to really want to round over with big weights, if we train that, well, now we got a real nice stable surface right there to squat off of. And then my favorite bar that we have is this guy here, which I bought from Louis Simmons a long time ago. This one's unique, and this one's been here. This one's been here for the whole ride.
Yeah, it's one of the original bars.
So if this barbell could talk, we'd get some really good stories. Hardest thing with this thing is to try to figure out how to get it out of here.
So that's the one you want?
Because it's a monster. Yeah.
Tell me about this monolift. This one looks like it's been a while. It's the oldest one in here.
A monolift was created so that fat guys no longer have to walk around with weight on their back anymore. So I'll show you what it does. Here. So as I go to stand up, it moved forward, and now I can squat. And then to put it back, just goes like that, and we're done. I wait until I'm warm. I wait till the body's ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing into anything that's not there.
The range will come.
It'll come, especially with a little bit of weight on there. So the way that we always do everything is we always warm up with the bar. Doesn't matter how strong an individual is, we always start with the barbell.
It's comfortable though. Yeah. Like holding on down there is like, I imagine you could self-spot a little bit too.
Right now the butt is flexed as hard as I can get it. The stomach is kind of tight, but as soon as I take air in, I'm gonna push my stomach out, and I'm actually gonna push my obliques. So if my hand was on here, I wanna be able to really explode and really flex, kind of almost like your love handles, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, tight core.
We're actually gonna shift into a box squat in a minute, but I always like to do a regular squat for most of the warm up. Get the body used to squatting the way that it's supposed to without the box being there. And now look at this shin angle. This is the angle that we want to be operating on right here, because we need to be able to sit back into the squat. And if you're trying to think of how to perform this, how to do this, you want to take your body weight and put all of it back so you use at least half the box, if not more. There you go, good. Control, now stay up for a second, come up, stay up here. Think about your hamstrings. Think about pulling yourself down towards the ground with your hamstring. Yeah, there we go. I know a lot of you guys are following Ron and you're following the Mutant brand. You're starting to get really into bodybuilding, and you're like, why am I listening to this powerlifter guy? You know, part of the reason why you want to switch, you want to stick and move, and you want to move in and out of certain things is you want to grab something new that wasn't available to you in the past. You want to take that, grab it, and then start to utilize it. And as soon as it's not working as well for you anymore, you get rid of it and you move on to the next thing. Maybe your squat's currently at 225, maybe your squat's currently at 275. If you can get stronger, you now gained a whole new world of access into what your body's capable of.
In a way, I was so stuck in bodybuilding training. And looking back now, if I would have done maybe some proper strength training in there, gotten stronger so I could move more weights for hypertrophy, like the, you know, pairing things up. But that was just, you know, limited knowledge at those years and stuff.
So you notice the box height is a little low, like this is like a below parallel squat. And this is something that's great to get used to, especially as a power lifter, because this is what you're asked to do in competition. You're asked to go this low. But I've had a lot of success as a power lifter with squatting a little higher than this. I would say most of my training when I was squatting those big weights was about an inch above parallel. And I knew when I got to the competition that I just had to stick with it and go a little bit lower. But you want to get used to these positions. This is going to be really beneficial to your hips. If you have a lot of pain and you're not used to it, you know, start with a lighter weight. Like, we don't have a ton of weight on here, but we're still getting a great training effect. As we do a few more sets, because we're old, we're going to bring the box height up a little bit and start to cheat. But it's in an effort to handle a little bit more weight. It's always a good idea whenever you have the opportunity to handle a little bit more weight, as long as you can do so safely. It's the way to go. You know, in bodybuilding, going from one set to the next, slightly fatigued, is actually really important. Like you want that.
Yeah, incomplete recovery.
Yeah, right? You don't want to have, I mean, maybe on some occasions you do, because of course you're going to switch things up here and there. But as a power lifter, you're looking for repeated efforts that can be repeated the same. So you might do a 5x5, 5 sets of 5 reps. Well, you want rep number 25 of the last rep of the last set to look very identical to the first rep of the first set.
Yeah.
In bodybuilding, you would like to keep some of those principles in terms of the technique. However, he gets to rep number 10, which might have been like the 30th rep. Maybe he did about 3 sets of 10. Maybe he went light, medium, and then went for it on his last one, right? And when he goes for it on that last one, it's and he might get a little bit of assistance. There might be negative in there.
Training to failure.
Yeah, you're training to failure. It's different. And as a power lifter,
you don't train to failure at all, really.
Traditionally, you don't ever train it.
Yeah.
Like
it's nervous system rehearsal, essentially.
That's what it
over
is.
and over and over.
If somebody's going to miss a weight, we completely take it from them. We don't guide them through it. Very, very rarely. Good ones now. Here we go. Yeah. Good. Good posture. Yep. Down by one. Nice. Good. You're in there. Woo. There we go. Great. Pull. Tight. Pull. Good. Up. 2. One more. Up. 3. Woo. There we go. That felt good. As I go to squat down, this 40 pounds is now going towards the ground. As I come back up, it's starting to get on there. So like, where do we really struggle in something like a squat, in something like a bench press, something like a deadlift? A lot of times it's that starting position. So now if we can create a different dynamic, if we can have the weights be lighter at the bottom where we struggle the most, maybe we can overcome that position. Maybe we can kind of like re-ingrain the way that our brain works when we start to handle heavy weights. Because now the message to the body is, holy shit, I got 500 pounds on my back. But as you go down, the 500 turns into 400 and we could still maintain good body posture. I want to really focus in on the hams a little bit. We're going to lower the weight and keep the box height up. Because I feel like when the box height's up, you're able to tap into the hamstrings more. Show you guys a good morning. This is something that helped me build the squats that I was doing years ago, squatting over 1,000 pounds. You see the chains are swinging, they're off the ground. And again, whatever squat stance you feel is good, or maybe even your own deadlift stance. So that way it has a good strong transfer over into some deadlifting. Want the spine neutral, kind of arch up a little bit. We really want to drive the hips back, and if we can, we want to try to get the shoulders over the toes, which is the hard part of this, because you just want to kind of crunch back. You want to really try to stick those shoulders out in front of the toes the best you can. So here we go. As you go, if you feel comfortable, you can get more range of motion. You know, you want to use weights that are appropriate. So as long as you're not going heavy for you, you're gonna be good to go. Nice. See how he's doing a good job of keeping that back really flat. I was allowing mine to round over more. But this is another variation. Now you can get more tension on the hams. Now try not to lock out. Pump them like you're doing a leg press. There you go. Good. There you go. Good, you're in there. So here we have, this is another bar from Chris Duffin. This might seem like an advertisement for him, but why not advertise people that sell good products? This piece was designed really, really well because you don't need to mess around with trying to get the weight on there. They have a really simple device kind of built into this that allows you to slide the weights on very easily and effectively.
You got two different grips to pick between.
And not only that, you know, he really screwed you over because the fatter grips are at the lower settings. So you have to duck down lower to get to those. Right. So to put weight on this bar, look how simple this is. To put the 45s on, you go whoop, like that. It has a built-in deadlift jack. The rules of engagement are the same here as they were on the squat and as they would be on a bench and as they would be on, you know, doing some pull-ups. You always want to figure out a way to get your body tight. You always want to figure out how to organize the body from your toes to your nose and everywhere in between. So when we go to do a deadlift here, we want to make sure that we organize our body. When you're in the middle of the lift, that's not a great opportunity to start to figure out where your body needs to be and how it needs to be organized. So right off the bat, I like to kind of stand tall. I like to think about how am I going to breathe and how am I going to brace myself for this weight that I'm going to lift. So as I duck down here, I'm going to automatically push the hips back rather than just flat out squatting down to it. Part of that has to do with I don't have great mobility to just drop down into a squat out of nowhere. So I'm going to shift my hips back a little bit, but also I want to create tension from the bar itself. And we do that on all the three lifts that we do in powerlifting, bench, squat, deadlift. We use the bar to wedge ourselves into a position that we otherwise wouldn't be able to get into. And we get ourselves crazy tight. So I'm going to use the bar, bending from the hips, use the bar to pull myself into a better position and to pull my shoulders high and to pull my hips low. Once you're loaded with the weight, you can kind of reconstruct the way that you lifted it, and you can start to think, okay, I really want my hips just to drop. Hips, 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 hips. And this can help your mobility a lot because you're being forced into a position. It's just like that. You get a lot more legs and a lot less back doing this exercise. You get a really good view of his back, and part of the reason why his back is so developed is because he knows how to organize it properly to tap into and to gain access to these muscles. A lot of that has to do with posing. A lot of the flexing, a lot of the exercises he's done over the years, that is not normal to see someone come in and right off the bat. I know that he has got a lot of years of lifting experience, but it's because of that bodybuilding background. It's very common amongst bodybuilders. Wouldn't matter if he was here or Jay Cutler, he'd be able to go boom, right in position.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. trap bar deadlift. The advantage of, you know, doing a trap bar is we don't have a barbell in our way. So if we had a bar in our way, well, now I can't really squat down because the bar is going to hit my legs, right? And it gets to be hard to get in position. You're trying to get in position, but that dang bar is in your way. And then a lot of times, because it's in your way, as you go to lift it, you end up kind of going here. That can happen on this when we get to a heavy weight, but we get the advantage of being able to use our quads and our back. No problem. Ron's a strong guy. This is 315 pounds. Still smart enough to put his belt on to make sure he's protected. What we're gonna do is we're elevating the heels, and I'm gonna show them how we can blast out the quads. We just flipped it over. Principle's still the same. Trying to get the back flat, hips are low, shoulders high. Right nice. Down into it each time, no stopping at the top, no stopping at the bottom.
Nice tension. Bang, bang. There we go. She's into double digits. Come on, buddy. Getting it. You know, heels elevated stuff is as hard as you want to make it.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you just sit up a little bit more. It's another like,
yeah, you stack it on there.
Stack it on there, make it hard coming out of the bottom, don't dip, you know? Yeah, it's just, you know, Mark, I tend to train with people that have terrible ideas. I've done it my whole life. And then I tend to come up with a lot of terrible ideas.
There we go. Nice. Nice, yep. Go for it. Come on now. Come on, get it. Big legs. Here you go. In a no man's land, uncharted territory. Nobody else wants to do this shit. Let's go. There we go. Yep. Woo. Burning out those quads. Starting to smell like they're cooking in here. Come on. For a world record. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, big man. Nice. Here you go, Biggs. Woo. Nice work. It's awesome, man. Awesome to be training with you today.
Yeah, man.
It's been a long time coming to have Ron Partlow in the gym.
Well, I just, I'm always surprised when I realize the people I got to train with over the years. Guys have been on the
bottom of the list.
Olympia stage, D-list YouTube celebrities, you know, the best of the best. Thanks for having me at Mark Bell Super Training.
Awesome, man. Thank
Slingshot World Headquarters.
That's right.
You bet, man. Mutant on a mission. I'm out.